Youngstown, Ohio was one of the most important cities in the steel industry in the 20th century. Located roughly halfway between Cleveland and Pittsburgh, this city swelled in population throughout the first half of the century, only to fall massively throughout the second half. This is What Happened to Youngstown, Ohio. Youngstown, Ohio was founded in 1796 off the banks of the Mahoning River. For most of its early history, this city, located near Ohio's eastern border with Pennsylvania, was a small one. With the 20th century came explosive growth, though. From 1900 to 1930, the city went from roughly 44,000 to 170,000 people, thriving in the steel industry. Republic Steel had its headquarters there, while U.S. Steel had a very large presence there. Along with these two, there were several others, such as Youngstown Sheet and Tube. While the prosperity and population remained throughout the Second World War, the growth ceased, and the second half of the century would not be kind. In the 1960s, population decline would begin to accelerate, with the old opportunities beginning to fade and new ones being very few and far between. GM established its Lordstown plant just outside of the city, giving the region some opportunity in the auto industry in the 60s. The 1970s, though, would hit the city hard. In 1977, an event known as Black Monday would occur in Youngstown. On September 19th of that year, Youngstown Sheet and Tube would unemploy 5,000 workers in one day. A company that had once employed 27,000 people was seeing its end, though the job losses would not end there. In the late 70s and into the 80s, U.S. and Republic Steel would struggle, and both would file for bankruptcy in the 80s. 40,000 jobs are believed to have been lost in the era from Black Monday and into the 80s. The steel industry, which had given the city so much prosperity, was becoming the city's undoing. Even fast food chain Arby's, which had been founded and had its headquarters in the suburbs, decided to leave in 1979. The city's population would decline from around 166,000 in 1960 to around 95,000 in 1990. Youngstown became just another example of the decline of the Rust Belt. However, its decline was on a level of severity comparable to Detroit and Flint, Michigan. The city and surrounding areas have seen much blight and abandonment, and has had a long and storied reputation of crime. The Lordstown Assembly, the region's largest remaining employer, closed in 2019 after already shedding thousands of jobs in the time leading up to its closure. Youngstown now has roughly 60,000 residents and has continued its decline. So what happened? Youngstown, like Detroit, was almost solely dependent on one industry for its survival. In Detroit, it was the auto industry. In Youngstown, it was the steel industry. Once the steel industry began to suffer in the 70s and 80s, there was no coming back. Once a hub for so many steel companies, the city today is left with a shell meant to serve nearly 3 times its current population. While it has been hit hard continuously, the city does have some things going for it. GM is building and plans to open a battery plant behind the Lordstown Assembly. This new plant, at a cost of $2.3 billion, is expected to bring 1,100 jobs to the region. The city does also have its own university, which provides over 1,000 jobs and draws over 10,000 students to the area. Its downtown has seen some redevelopment, and there's also a decent park system nearby to draw people. While its losses haven't stopped, they have slowed down, and the city has improved some from its darkest days. It remains to be seen, though, if redevelopment efforts can help improve this city's future, though. Thank you for watching.